Hi, this is Randy Kirk, and today I'm going to give you 10 reasons why Tesla's margins might be much higher than we think in 2023, even after the price cuts. If you like this kind of content and it's valuable to you and helpful, please press the like button, and you might want to subscribe. And my Patreon channel is growing every day. Pretty soon, I think I should probably do like everybody else and list the folks that are now part of it. We'll do that maybe in the future. Okay, let's talk about the 10 reasons. I've been listening to all kinds of content for the last 3 days where people have talked about why the costs might be going down on Tesla vehicles. And I think some of those are pretty obvious, and you're probably already aware of them. We've also got some conversations about what might happen in the future that could impact the total amount of margins that Tesla will make in 2023. But I thought, you know what? Let's take a look at all of them in one place. And I think you're going to notice that there's at least a couple that nobody's talking about. So that's why you listen to this channel, right? Is to get the things that nobody else is talking about. So let's go down. First of all, in 2022, Tesla produced about 737,000 Model Ys. They'll be adding 600,000 to that total from Berlin and Austin. Maybe they'll be adding some from Shanghai as well, and they may be adding some from Fremont, as both of those factories continue to increase their total volume. I'm guessing that the concentration might be on Model 3s in both of those situations, so I'm not going to give them the full 450,000 from those two factories. I'm not going to say those are all going to Model Ys. Some of those should be going to Model 3s. So I'm going to suggest that the increase will be that the Model Y will have about 1.6 million sales next year. Model Y will sell 1.6 million cars next year out of the total of 2.3 million. Of course, that'll make the Model Y by far the best-selling car in the world, not even close. That would be about 1.6 out of 2.3 would be about 70% of all cars will be Model Ys, rather than last year, 737 out of 1.3 was only about 56%. Well, Model Ys are higher margin. We know that. If you follow Tesla, you know that early on, Elon said that the Model Y costs almost nothing more to produce, and if it's being produced in more efficient factories with more efficient, with the giga presses making these new underbodies, they might cost less than the Model 3s out of Shanghai or out of Fremont. We don't know for sure, but they're certainly close, and yet they charge substantially more for Model Ys. So that fact alone, a massive increase in the number of Model Ys as a percentage of all the cars is going to mean right away marginal increase. Is anybody else saying that? I haven't seen anybody else say that yet. So that's number one that I think is unique to our channel. Number two, Fremont might increase by 100,000 cars in 2023. That would be like tops. They did about 550,000 last year. I don't think they'll really get to 650,000 next year, even with all these changes that are going in at Fremont. But let's say that they add 100,000. But Austin and Berlin will increase by 600,000, 300,000 each. And the suggestion is that Shanghai will increase by 400,000. Therefore, the most inefficient factory will only be increasing by, what is that, less than 20% at the most, whereas the other factories will be increasing by dramatic numbers, well over 50%. Therefore, the old, least efficient factory will only do about 600,000 cars out of the 2.3 million, or about 26%, versus last year when they did 550,000 out of 1.3 million, or 42%. So once again, without taking anything else into consideration, the margins will be going up just because we're getting the cars made in more efficient factories. Now, this point has been made by others. I'm not sure as succinctly and as cleverly, but anyway. All right, number three. All the facilities should be achieving reduced cost as volume increases. This would be a major reason for the price reduction. They're all increasing, so they'll be able to buy materials for less. They'll get better efficiencies. all of their costs should be going down in terms of cost of goods. So keeping this on-ramp at full throttle is one of the main reasons I think why Elon did what he did, is he wants to continue this ramp maxed out, because not only will it reduce the cost of goods on every car because you're making more at every factory, but it also reduces the overhead as a percent. So the bottom line comes out higher because you're getting the power of the increased use of each facility. All right, so that's another reason right there why the overall margins, not only the cost of goods will go down, but the cost of overhead will go down as a percent. All right, next we have Berlin will be producing Model Ys that will likely cost more than the Model Ys that are made in Shanghai that have been exported up till now into Europe. However, even though they cost a little more to make them in Berlin, they will be using the very latest equipment, the very latest techniques and methods. So that'll reduce some of that difference, but there's no freight and there's no handling and there's no import duty. And so when you add all that together, probably both the consumer and Tesla will win in that situation. So I'm guessing that, again, maybe not as big a deal, but to some degree, Tesla will make more margins this year on Model Ys sold in Europe that come out of the Berlin factory than they did last year, Model Ys coming out of Shanghai and being shipped all the way over to Europe. Okay, number 6. New battery chemistries have been coming online, and battery chemistries have been changed in various vehicles in order to get the greatest efficiencies, the greatest cost advantages. Sodium may be coming on as early as 2023. We might see some cars starting to be using sodium. Maybe not. Maybe those will all go into energy storage. I'm not exactly sure yet, but in general, the cost of batteries is coming down. We know that comes down just as a result of getting better and better and better, higher volumes, et cetera. But also, the battery chemistries have been worked on to the point where I think that will be a big impact. Why do I say a big impact? Because the battery sometimes is a third, quarter of the overall cost of the vehicle. And so that's where the impact can be the greatest. Okay, number 7. Incentives from the IRA in the United States for batteries will have an impact. We're not sure exactly how, because we have to decide where do we take that gain. We know that Tesla will gain something from making batteries, possibly from the Panasonic batteries. They will gain something from putting batteries into packs. So far, that's all very confusing and unknown. And also, there won't be enough in 2023 to fill up every single product that could use IRA-related batteries. So some batteries will still be imported from countries that don't meet the criteria. So, but there'll be some impact. We just don't know how much. Number 8, more output will lower overall. I already said that. You know what? We don't get a number 8. I'm not gonna have 10. So more output will lower overhead, adding to net profit. We already said that as part of another one up above. Okay, number 9. Lower cost on vehicles will. This is my favorite. Okay, this is the one you waited for. This is the one that it said in the headline. What about number 9? Well, if I'm a consumer and I was thinking I was going to have to pay $50,000 for a Model 3, and now I'm going to pay $35,000 because of the IRA. So I'm going to go out and get this great deal on a Model 3. Gosh, that means I can probably afford the paint color that I wanted. Oh, that might mean I can afford the better trim. I could go all-wheel drive. I could go performance. I could, all of the kinds of things that cost almost nothing for Tesla to upgrade, but the consumer pays for those upgrades. It might mean I'm going to afford FSD where I wouldn't have afforded it otherwise. So there will be, this is my favorite, there will be dramatic increases in the number of people that take all of these additional things on their cars that typically have either 100% or almost 100% margin, such as FSD, are certainly on things like just upgrading to a performance vehicle. The margins on that is tremendous. So this one, I don't think anybody, not one person I've listened to has said it. So I'm going to take all the credit, but I think this will be the biggest impact. I think this is the one that we'll remember later. And number 10, I've said this before, so this is not even the first time I've said it to you. So Tesla can easily raise their prices by model, by market, as the year goes on, based on what's going on in terms of wait times and what they think would be wise in order to hit the market where it needs to be hit. My guess is there could be price reductions. Maybe something there'll be $1,000 off, and maybe something else will be $2,000 on. Most of the changes in prices over the course of the next year, I think, will be up. But I don't think they'll be dramatic. I think they'll just be pick and choose a little bit here, a little bit there where it makes sense. But that will be increases in margins that I'm almost 100% sure that we'll see during the course of this year. So there's your 9 reasons. I'll have to change the headline now that I was intending to do. There's the 9 ways that we probably are going to see dramatically more margins in 2023 than anybody would think of after such a large price cut. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like it. I'm looking for more and more folks to join Patreon because we're going to have some fun over there. I am putting videos up well ahead of the time that I'm putting them up on YouTube. I am putting up some charts and graphs and spreadsheets, and we'll be getting shortly on Patreon into the business of starting to work on the new book, the Elon Musk Magic. And I'm hoping that my Patreon members will be a major source of creativity and even maybe some research and knocking ideas around and spitballing and masterminding. And anyway, that's what we're going to try to do on Patreon. If you're interested, $5 a month, all it costs. So the information's down below. Hey, it's been great talking to you.